everybody, it's Kat, and I want to welcome you to episode of Backstory Session. Joined today my co-host Matt. Hey Matt.
Hey, Kat. Hey, everyone. How are you?
Well, we are getting ready for the big 4th of July.
Yes, it will be, in a few days, I
Thursday.
guess, right? Yeah. Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, next Thursday. And a lot of places are going ahead and starting their celebration tonight. Because people are off from work on a weekend already. So a lot of places just go ahead and do the fireworks on either the weekend before or the weekend after. But where I live here in Barberville, Kentucky, they're going to do them on Thursday. So, yeah,
Yeah. Here,
happy
there.
Independence Day.
Yeah.
But
Here, I think, anything that they may have planned for this evening is probably going to get rained out because it's raining right now. So,
yes, the weather, it does make planning outdoor activities difficult because the weather has been so unpredictable this year, as in other years too. But it's been hot. I will have to say that is one thing that I have not liked about this summer so far.
yeah, it has been a little warm here, too.
Yes, today was 90, feels like 100.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, well, people, you see those posts, people will be like, those people complaining about the heat need to remember, and it'll show like, 50 feet of snow pictures or whatever. But, I don't like that either. I'm not a winter person, but
Well, just so you know, in 6 months, it'll be right before New Year's, so.
yes, Christmas will be over with.
Yeah. And it'll be cold.
Yes, potentially snow even.
Probably here, yes.
So, I mean, you know, a lot of celebrations. I mean, fireworks, of course. I think that's probably the universal thing that most places do.
Well, yeah, that and barbecues and, you know, any number of patriotic concerts and that sort of thing.
Well, flags too, that's a important part. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of animals, are very terrified of fireworks. So I really wish that there'd just be that one day that people do them, and then they wouldn't, like, here sometimes it can go on for a week and a half, that people are like shooting them off at home.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that just really upsets, probably babies too. And for parents that are trying to get their kids to bed so they can go to bed and go to work
Well,
the
maybe
next day.
maybe you need to buy like earplugs for the cat.
Oh, do they make those?
Probably not, but you could invent some.
We should not have said that on the podcast, because we could, like,
I know, we could clean up.
we could. I mean, probably need to put some gloves in there too, because Ruth Lee,
Yeah.
I can't, I'm trying to put earplugs in her ears, but
Maybe you could just get
she
like
would,
headphones or something.
yeah, well, she would thank me later, because she would be terrified from all that noise.
Hmm.
But I do love fireworks. It used to be, I would say, right up there with my favorite holidays.
You could get her some noise canceling headphones and play like bird sounds.
Yes. See, I mean, somebody out there is going to take this idea and run with it, and they'll be like
That's right.
gazillionaire
Yeah.
here. I'll
Well,
be like, Matt, stupid Matt.
yeah. You heard it here first.
Yes. So isn't that like, patented or like something, like it was the original idea,
Intellectual
like
property.
copyright.
Intellectual property.
Yeah, it's intellectual property. So Now we just and, you can design, like, different looks because cats are very different in their personality and the way they want to look. So,
That is true, yeah.
yeah. Some of them do wear clothes, and I mean, I have seen people walking them on a leash. It's just the cats I have had would not, would just not go for that.
Yeah, yours were more outdoor cats anyway.
Yes. Well, over time, there have been cats that would, some of them acted kind of dog like, they would follow along on a walk or something like that. But they always, are like sneaking up, like not walking beside you like a dog, would be right with you. They're like more spying from the parameter at you.
Yes. Still.
So, what, the 4th of July, I remember it was always like family, and like different people that lived in the neighborhood. We would all have like wiener roast, marshmallows. So, people would like, one neighbor would build the fire, one would go get the sticks, so I don't know why we didn't just buy them because, they're cleaner and everything else that way. But, it would be like, just go get sticks and then whittle the end off so you can put the hot dog on there
Oh well,
or the marshmallow.
that's old school.
Yeah, well, I'm old. So, but yes, I mean, it is old school, but that's what we used to do as kids. And, we would always like go to the fireworks store and get Roman candles and sparklers and, bottle rockets, those kind of things. And we would always like have fireworks, and people would bring guitars and sing. And it was just, it was always just a great time. And that's in what we did. I mean, that was how we celebrated when I was young.
Did you shoot the fireworks at each other?
No, I would light a sparkler, and that's really about it. Yeah, I liked watching them, but I'm not, like you put the bottle rockets and different things like in a milk jug or,
Yeah.
something like that. But I was always afraid.
Oh, no, my brothers and I and the neighbor kids and stuff, we would throw firecrackers at each other and shoot bottle rockets and Roman candles at each other and that sort of thing.
Well, that does seem fun.
A little dangerous, but you know.
I don't know. Like, I guess it didn't seem dangerous at the time, really. I mean, I know it had warnings on there and all that stuff, but
It's all fun
I
and
don't,
games till somebody starts on fire.
yeah, or, I mean, people do, like, even at like fireworks shows, with professionals, like,
Yeah.
people sometimes get hurt. And I have heard people say it's just like, why don't you just set your money on fire? Because really, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's typically a 1 or 2 day thing and then it's done. So,
Well, I think events like that bring communities together. And, I mean, we are celebrating independence. That's a pretty big thing. So
yeah,
I'm
that's
all
true.
now, there's a hot dog eating contest here. I would not be able to partake in that because I can't eat a bunch of food fast like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like hot dogs, but I don't know that I want to be in a contest.
I want to think like somebody like the winner maybe ate 25 or something like that. I mean,
It's a bit
that's a lot of
much.
hot.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how many minutes they get, 8 minutes, something. I
Mm,
don't even know, but there's just no way I could eat like that.
me either.
But it's fun to watch, because people have their methods, like, and it's interesting to watch the different ideas that people have about, what's the strategy to win. So,
Yeah, I've seen like the Nathan's Coney Island hot dog eating contest, and They typically like dip bun and hot dog in water to make it softer, and you know that's how they do it.
Tips of the trade if you're out there listening and going to enter that contest,
That's right.
Well, we have an interesting guest today because we've had Jack Williams before,
Yes,
and
he goes by H. Jack Williams now. I think there was some.
yes, yes. So now he's had, a name change as far as the way he's identified, to for his career. And he's also had an interesting epiphany career wise, like a lot of people don't really change careers later in life. Like most people change several times in the beginning, but he's going to be on the big screen with Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah,
yeah. He's a songwriter, and he's kind of dipping his feet into the acting world, I guess. And he did talk about that last time he was on.
yeah, and I think I admire people that are willing to tackle a whole new skill set. At any age, really.
Well, I mean, you've done the same thing. I mean, you're retired for a while, and now you have mystery meets going on. So
Yeah,
you're a
um,
mini content, or what is it? Mini influencer. Yeah.
influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Well, so I don't know. Do you admire that about me? Am
Sure.
I
Yeah. I
terrible, as
mean,
I just said?
it's it's interesting, you know. I mean, you certainly like doing it, so you know.
I mean, I guess in some ways it's not it's not a big change from what I was doing. I mean, it's structured a bit differently, but it's still theater and, like
Yeah, but now you're
plays and
more involved in the business side of it too,
yes,
which
yes,
before you were not.
that is true. So it is a learning experience in that way. And, would I question sometimes, like, if I would have thought of this early on, would I have, like, pursued it then? And I don't really know. I mean, I loved teaching, and that was a great career, seemed like a good fit for me. But, I think it would have definitely paired up well. I could have just like after they graduated, they could just come join mystery meets
Right,
and,
there you go. Yeah.
yeah, so it could have been a feeder program from the business, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, it is interesting. And so I can relate in that way of having, a change like later in life. But there's a lot to be said for just retiring and enjoying life too. For some people, that's like the goal, I guess, with grandkids or, traveling or whatever it is they want to do that they put on hold. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like those things like you think in your mind that they're going to be great and all, and then they are great for a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, most people don't really want to travel like 24/7, 365 days a year, like,
True.
well, I mean, I think like eventually you see like most places if you did that.
Well, I mean, there's always some place new to see. I mean, you know, and it all does, after a while, it all does start to look the same. But, I think it's always nice to have a place to call home.
Yeah, and I think creativity, like that's the thing that and I'm sure there are other things, but some creativity, no matter what that a lot of jobs have creative problem solving, type things. I mean, that's always changing. And to me, that's what keeps it from being like the same old, like teaching was like that, one set of kids would be very different than another set. And even
Right.
within the same day, if you taught the same content, it would be a totally different experience because of people and the personalities. And so, I guess mystery meats and putting on completely different shows and, with different actors and venues. And, it's fascinating and it's very interesting to deal with people again, and because now, like, they're adults that I'm dealing with more so than when I taught. So it's very different.
I'm sure it is. Well, I mean, yeah, so I wonder how different it is for Jack to be in acting now instead of music.
Yeah, I mean, because they're both creatives and they both, take a lot of work. But just because you would be good, at music doesn't mean that you would necessarily be good at acting or vice versa.
That's true, but
I mean,
you could be
it,
good at both.
yeah, you could. And the writing, like a lot of people are great musicians, but they don't write their own music or songs.
Right.
So, a lot of skills that go into that. And then this movie, as I understand it, is a Western type. So you would not only have to be good at acting, but, you know, horse riding and
There's usually a gunfight or something like that, or a
yeah,
fight scene,
weapon.
or yeah.
Yeah. And probably, dealing with the like where they're filming it, like you probably have like a stunt double or something like that, but maybe not. I mean, maybe Jack did some of his own. Who knows?
That's true. Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out his experience with it. I mean, he did talk about it a little bit last time, but I hope we get more detail about how it went and, things like that. And the movie is out now?
Yeah, Horizon, and I think it's gonna have four different movies. I think this is the first released one.
Okay. So he's in this one though, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So he'll be up on the big screen, which is, I mean, that's amazing. He's
Yeah, I mean,
when you
as a
career
yeah, as a first movie, and it's a Kevin Costner movie. That's pretty cool.
can't beat that. So Jack is fascinating, and I'm not really surprised that this is happening because, as we've heard his backstory, like, there was a lot of difficult situations that he overcame as, being young, like with abuse and that kind of thing, and that he talked about, wrote songs about, and, eventually made a video about. But he's always like just seemed like a survivor, like whatever would happen, he would just keep going. And I like that in people. And also, he's very persistent. Like he would chase opportunities and make opportunities. So I'm not surprised this has happened to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll have to talk to him a little bit further and see what else he's got to add to that story.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a great interview, I think.
Me too. All right, here we go.
Well, Jack Williams, I want to welcome you back to Backstory Sessions. It's been forever, it seems like.
It has, and I think the first thing that we have to do is because it's been forever, I had to, and we will talk about why I had to, but I had to change my brand just a little bit to H. Jack Williams. Of course, I still go by Jack, but it is H. Jack Williams. and H. Jack Williams music, and H. Jack Williams this and H. Jack Williams that, because there's always been two Jack Williams songwriters parallel for the last 20, 30 years. He lives in Carolinas, and he's very, very great songwriter, and he does a very cool thing, and I do a very cool thing. We're about the same age. We've gone down similar paths. Him not so much as the songwriter that I've been for hire, so to speak, but he's incredible. So it used to be if you Google Jack Williams, he would come up. And so we had to fix that real quick because things were starting to happen. So it's H. Jack Williams. And as you see on my website, that's all been changed. And I just want to let you know about that.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's great to have you back with, the H in front too. You've had such an incredible career, and we've talked about that a couple of times that we've had you as a guest previously. But today we're going to catch up a little bit from, I think it was October, did you say 2022, Matt?
Yes, it was October 23rd, 2022.
Okay, so we've got a couple of years almost to catch up with, and you have been doing when we last spoke, you had been bitten by the acting bug, and that was through doing a video with your music, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a video with my music with Kevin Costner's right hand man, Mark Gillard, who directed it. And that's the video that Gary Rosington from Leonard Skinner played in, and it was the last thing that he did before he died. And it was a great video. And yes, it gave me a little bit of an acting bug, but off the heels of that, when it was all done and it was out, I went out to visit Kevin like I do sometimes. And I knew he was getting ready to, how should I say, start casting and filming his epic movie Horizon that comes out Friday. And I never asked, I've been friends with Kevin for 10 years now, and I've never asked him for anything as long as I've lived. But I was trying to figure out how can I hint around? Can I be a flower on a tree? Can I just be an extra in this thing? And we were out back in his backyard, and he just looked at me and he went, I'm probably going to get in big trouble for doing this because I'm supposed to keep it a secret, but I wrote a part for you in my movie. And I went, you what? He said, I wrote a part for you in my movie, Jack, and it's not just a part. It's a memorable scene. When people walk out of the theater, they're going to remember you. And he said, this is going to happen. I can't tell you, but this is going to happen. That's going to happen. This is going to happen. If you don't happen, I'm going to kick your butt. So here I come. Next thing I know, I started getting casting, people calling me, you got to do this, sign this, do this, sign this, do this. And the next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Utah. And the next thing I know, I'm in the middle of Kevin Costner movie world that until you've been on a set with that man, you don't know greatness. And I was with Jeff Fahey and Luke Wilson and people like Sam Worthington, and I mean, just great big movie stars. And there I was, and Kevin introduced me to everybody and said, my buddy Jack, he's a songwriter, but I think he can nail this part. And and everybody jumped in, and I was scared shitless, to be honest with you. I mean, I was shaking the day of the scene. Kevin told Jeff, take care of his nerves before he falls out. And I did it, and everybody said I was great. And I came home from that. Excuse me. I came home from that with the bug then. Then I came home, and I knew that I wanted to spend the next 4, 5, 7 years as a character actor I didn't want to be a movie star. I didn't want all that shit, but I did want to. I wanted to do shit that looked like me, sounded like me, and felt like me. Because when I left there, the last thing Kevin said was the same thing W. Earl Brown said when he shot the video for "Beat Me Again." He said, "You go out there, and for the next 5 to 7 years, you audition, you get those parts, and all you do is just do you, Jack. Just read the words as if you were reading them words. And for God's sakes, don't act. Just do you." And I tell you what, I've written songs for 50 years. I played on stages. I've been in bands. I've been in the recording studios. I've done everything a guy could dream of. But those minutes when that camera's on you and you get to be yourself and you get to pretend, there ain't nothing like that. And I tell you what, I've already been in another movie since that one. I got casted in, and this movie comes out Friday, and I think it's going to be a really, really, really cool thing for my little career that I have left.
Wow. So you have been busy. All right. So when he told you like that he had this role that he's written just for you, I mean, what was going through your mind then? Like, it must be like, an honor, but also something totally different for you. So, what were you thinking?
I was just, I was just, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was in a weird place. I think I left right after that. I remember the day because him and his wife at the time, they were getting ready for I believe it was the Golden Globes, and I believe they were trying on. She was trying on gowns, and he had to try trapeze on. So my visit with him wasn't that long. So I remember he walked me out to the car and he said, "I'll see you soon on the set." And it was like a dream. It was like, did this really just happen? Did this really just happen? And I didn't believe it really happened, and then it did. And and then it did. And then I saw the movie. I got to sit with him and watch the movie, and he showed me the scene, and he went, "Jack, you love movies. What do you think?" And I was like, I looked at it and I went, "Wow, that's me up there." And but that was just the beginning. I came back from that, and so that was done. So I got an agent. He had me, him, and some friends of ours helped me get an agent, and now I thought I was off to the races, as we all do when something cool happens to us. We all think, "Oh, cool, I'm off to the races." And guess what? 5 minutes after I got one of the best agents around, SAG striked,
Oh, yeah.
writer strike, and went on for months, and there was no movement. And so all that excitement of coming off of that and wanting to do more was gone. It was like, sorry, there's not going to be anything until the strike's over. So this leads me to the next thing that's about to happen here. So I'm sitting around, and my manager comes back from the Grammys, which is in February, right after that, right? And she says to me, "I just come back from the Grammys, Jack, and there is a category that you do so well. And I think if you went and wrote an album, if you wrote a spoken word album of your life, of your world, if you did it and you tracked it, we'll go get you a Grammy nomination this year." And I went and I moved up state New York, out of Nashville. I had to get out of Nashville. I was on the back end of a divorce. And I had to get out of Nashville. And I moved to upstate New York, set up my Pro Tools studio in my new little apartment. And 12 weeks later, I had written the album with 11 songs, spoken word songs,
Wow.
and started tracking it, and it was done. And then that was in what? So that would have been 23. So all of 23, I worked on the tracks of that. All I did was just chisel away at the tracks of that. And then early 24, I went down to Nashville, and I got together with John Willis, my co-producer on this record, and we did the vocals on 4 of the songs, 4 of the ones that I really wanted to get the vocals done on right. And now here's here's what's going to blow you away. So this is going to get ready for this. So then me and the way I work, I picked up the phone. The very first thing I did was I texted Kevin, and I said to Kevin, "What's the chances of you doing a duet with me on
Yeah.
one of my spoken word songs?" And he said, "When do we do it?" And I went, "Oh shit.
Ah, that's cool.
Oh shit." Then I called W. Earl Brown up, said the same thing. He said, "When do we do it?" Then I called Ward Davis, and he said, "When do we do it?" And then I called Dave Gibson, and he said, "When do we do it?" Now I have 4 tracks. One single coming out July 12th with Ward Davis doing Jesus and Me. And then on August 23rd, I've got Dancing in the Sun coming out with featuring Kevin Costner on the heels of his 2 biggest movies in his life.
Wow.
And I'm freaking 72 years old. And the stuff is just going crazy.
Well, I will have to say I did not see that coming. Wow. You, I mean, you must be over the moon with all of this.
Well, I tell you what, I'm more over the moon about anything else. I'm going to go back to Nashville after the 4th for the next 3 or 4 months because I need to be there. You know, Nashville is like Hollywood, New York City. They'll embrace you and they'll put you on the top of the mountain if you're there. You know what I mean? If you got the goods and you're there and you're sincere and you've been there for years, they'll embrace you. And I need to go back now and show them that this was all why I did it. I brought it back home. I brought the gold back home now. And on August 23rd, on the day of Kevin's single being released with me, I'm doing a record release party. And my producer has put together, I mean, in Nashville, the best is the best. The top layer of those session musicians play on every record that you hear every day. And we put together a band, a super band, and I'm going to do a show of my spoken word for all the industry and executives in town. And I think they're going to walk out of there, or at least I hope they're going to walk out of there and go, now that, whatever that was, is where we need to be going. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air, and I think it might be really cool. I think they're just going to walk out and go, "What the heck did we just see?" Because I don't know if you've heard Jesus and Me yet or anything. I'll send you Jesus and Me, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard it, but I'll send it to you. But it's different. It's like, I don't know how to put it to you. I wrote spoken word from a songwriter's point of view, where most spoken word, well, it's black dominated for one thing. And it's mostly a monologue level of, like, it's like a hip hop. It's like a cool beat, a cool groove with cool music, but it's pretty, it's pretty, how would you say, linear. It's pretty linear. So the poet speaks over it, which is what spoken word is poetry over music. But because I've been a songwriter for 50 years, I wrote my spoken word as if it was a song. So we do have verses, and then when the chorus is there, I don't sing it up because you're not allowed to sing in spoken word, but I do go up an octave with my voice. So you can hear the rise and fall of the song in the spoken word content. And I think we've got something pretty cool that we're about to unveil. And I just wanted you to know about it.
Well, that's very fascinating. So, when you moved to New York, and it seems like you put this together pretty quickly, where was the inspiration coming from?
My childhood. I don't know if I remember telling you, but I was very abused as a young kid. I was adopted, first of all. I was the only child, second of all. And my mom and dad beat me with a garden hose from the time I was 10 years old to the time I ran away from home when I was 13. So the demons from all that still reside inside of me. And although I'm very careful these days to make sure that they're curbed, they still live there. So I decided to dive down in there and swim with them for 12 weeks and come out with an album that could help people that have been through that situation, like Beat Me Again, that could go, wow, he went through all that and he's still on top. You know, I mean, he went through all that and he's okay. And so if I can help one person whose parents beat the holy hell out of them, and they've lived with that hell all their life, and if they can hear one song and go, well, I want to be dancing in the sun just like he is, or I want to. If he can do it, I can do it. You know that, and so I wrote the whole album about you know the dark side. I don't know if there's a happy song on the album, but there is a lot of hope.
Was it therapeutic in some way to let that out through a creative channel?
You know, Kat, people ask me that all the time. The bad answer to that is no. I think it, you can write it, you can look at it, you can acknowledge it. But the only way I believe that the demons that are inside of you from anything, I don't care whether it's a abusive marriage, I don't care whether it's whatever it is, whatever your demons are inside of you, I've come to believe that the only way those demons go away is if you forgive them one by one. And if you don't, and I haven't, I may have forgiven one or two, but I decided that, you know what? I'm sorry, but I ain't forgiving you. And I live with that. If I choose not to forgive that, I choose not to forgive it. But I also have to know that there are times when that little demon might jump up and face off with me, and I'm going to have to say, get out of my way. But there are some that I've forgiven. Don't get me wrong, but some that you just go, I don't know, man. How could you have done that? Why would I ever want to forgive something that you should have never done? So, so I don't know about therapeutic. I think I'll tell you when it's really therapeutic is when I perform it on stage. Now, when I perform it on stage, and I'll send you a clip of a night that I performed some of the stuff on stage.
Okay.
Now there is a moment there. So like I remember I was doing on when I did Southern Rounds last year. I was in the middle of dancing in the sun, and there's a couple lines in the second verse where Kevin sings the second verse, but there's a couple lines in the second verse where it says, "Preacher says God's with you everywhere you go. All you have to do is call." Well, yesterday I was down in a deep, deep, dark hole, and I couldn't find him anywhere at all. And then I look up and I pause right there when I say that, and I look up and I see people shaking their heads, going, "Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember I called that son of a bitch and he didn't come." And see, when you can take God, I think here's what I've done. I've taken my love of God and my love of Jesus Christ, and I made him my next door neighbor, my buddy. And so if I'm gonna go, you go screw yourself today, buddy. You didn't do shit for me. I can say that, but I can still believe he's my God. You know what I mean? He's still God. He's still Jesus. But I can call him out if I want to and feel good about it and go, you know what? It pissed me off. I don't like it pissing me off. And or maybe tomorrow I go, I'm sorry, I must have pissed you off. You know what I mean? It's like having a friend that you go round 10 rounds with, you know?
Hmm.
Interesting. So, are you still like which are you more excited about? The movie coming out or this releasing, your new project, which like so much is going on for you. How are I mean, what does it feel like to have so many things to look forward to?
Oh, I am just got to take them one by one. The movie comes out on Friday. And although, nobody's going to write about me in the movie by no means, because I'm just a very small part of it. But at the same time, the movie's going to come out on Friday, and it's going to be a monster. It is a monster movie. You all should go see it. It's a great, 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 great movie. I mean, if you haven't seen the trailers for it yet, I mean, it's going to make Dances with Wolves look like a cartoon. He filmed it all on location. It's an incredible movie. And when that blows up, everybody in it is going to blow up. And that's what Kevin said movies are made to do. So we take the movie first, and hopefully a couple people will call my agent and say, "Hey, can you get that guy to audition for this cool part I got?" And then hopefully I can go start doing some of that while the records are out. And hopefully, 50 years of hard work, hopefully I'll get to finally maybe grab a little bit of that stardust off of that from all this. You know what I mean? Maybe, hopefully, maybe I'll be able to go, yeah, all right, okay, okay, cool. Now, now I can relax.
Jack, I would say you've had a pretty impressive run for, a lot of years, and you shouldn't sell yourself short.
I know, buddy. But here's the thing. I was sitting outside the other night, and I was just gazing at the road, and I was saying to myself, and now I just made this. You got to remember now. I've been living in New York for a year and a half.
Hmm.
I've got good friends. I've got close friends, more than I can even imagine. And I woke up. Okay, this is Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday. I woke up Friday, and I went, Jesus, I got to go back to Nashville. And just like if I was 25, I went, I got to get in my car. I got to go back to Nashville. I got to run this. No one can run this campaign better than I can. I mean, I've got managers, I've got publishers, I've got all that, but like my like my like my publicist, not my, I mean my manager said, you got to be present to win, and you do. And I went, I got to go back. And then when I found myself telling everybody I got to go, and I called everybody in Nashville first and said, or I texted them and said, hey bud, I'm coming back in about a week. And all I got was shit like, thank God. Finally come to your senses. My God, about time you're coming back. And when you get that from everybody in town, then you know you're doing the right thing. And so yeah, and then I sat there and I said to myself, I was thinking about the show. And you will enjoy the clip I'll send you of the Southern Round show. But everything is off the cuff with me, my storytelling and everything. And I said, how do you think you'll start that show that night? And I said to myself, I think I will walk on stage and I will look out at all those people that have been watching me for the last 35, 40 years. And I think I will look at them and say, the roads I've traveled to get here.
Mm.
And it brings a tear to my eye when I say that, because nobody knows the roads we've traveled to get where we're going but ourselves. And I know the roads I've traveled. And believe me, they weren't all glittered in gold. And that most of them weren't even near it. So, I've had a cool career, but those peaks and valleys, brother, are steep and deep.
Yep, I can understand that. I mean, so I wanted to ask you, how do you like upstate New York?
I love it. I'm coming back. I'm not staying down there.
Oh, really?
I live in a town called Canandaigua, outside of Rochester, and
Yeah.
I am in love with it up here. I love it. I love the people. I'm just going to go down there and do my job, and I'm coming back up here. I love this place. I love everybody I'm around. I can't. Even my son, who came up and spent a week with me and a couple of weeks on, even he says the same. It's like have you ever been up here?
Oh, yeah, I used to live in Ithaca.
Okay, well then you know what I'm talking about. So the first thing that my son saw when we drove around the countryside is, remember when you were a little boy, when you were 6, 7 years old, and you had the picture book, and there was always these beautiful farms with silos and the cows and the fences. I swear to God, they took them from up here. Everything is so manicured. Everything is so perfect. Everybody's got a silo. Everybody's got a fence.
Yeah.
Everybody's got 2 cows. It's like everywhere you go is so beautiful.
Yeah, and then then you got the wine trail and all of that stuff going on up there. It is pretty nice.
It is, and I got lucky this last winter, because all my friends said the winter's going to kill you, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
But I got lucky, and they had the mildest winter they've had in 50 years. So God spared me on that one.
That last year.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right, Kat.
Yeah, so I have some. I've looked up some things about Horizon, and so you tell me if these are, true or false, because you can't know for sure. But so during one of the scenes, did your hat like fly off? And you ad-libbed about the wind stealing it, and it made it to the final cut. Is that true or false? Or can you say?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. Where'd you find that? It says me?
Yes, yeah, these are supposed to be different little tidbits about it. And I was like, well, like sometimes people write things and you haven't verified.
Really?
Like, I'm just gonna ask Jack and see.
I know. I don't remember that. I can't say yes or no on that because I honestly don't remember that happening. But believe me, that's very possible. What else is there?
All right. The period costumes. So I hear that they're beautiful, but extremely hot. And
Oh God, yes. Oh God. It was so hot. Here, I'll tell you a little story, okay? It was so hot on the day of the shoot. I mean, it was like 107. It was in Utah. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. There wasn't a tree around. And I mean, I, I am, you know, I'm ex-military. I know heat. But this day, I mean, everybody, Kevin runs a big show, and he's well deserving of that. And on that day, you got the all the assistants walking around with umbrellas and cold packs for your neck, and I mean, because I'm sitting right there and I'm getting ready to do a thing. So they're trying to keep you from water bottles everywhere. You could drink they hand you a cold water cold water barrel and bottle, and you take 3 or 4 swallows out of it and set it down, and 5 minutes later, it's red hot. I mean, without any. I'm not kidding you one bit.
Hmm.
So that's going on, and so I'm getting, I'm sitting there, and we haven't quite got to my scene yet, and it's getting around 11:30, and I'm going. I mean, I'm starting to get pretty hot. I think I know what's going on with me. I think I know what's going on with me. I think I'm feeling something weird. Could feel this weird chill. I could feel this weird chill. Gosh, but then they call lunch. Now lunch is a fair walk from the set to the camp, and it's in thick desert sand, sun beating down, and I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm starting to stagger. And I know I am. And I'm starting to feel a chill.
Hmm.
And I know I am. And I'm going, man, you're starting to get heat stroke. You are, bud. You're coming. You know what's happening here. And just about the time I was going to fall on the ground, a white Suburban pulls up, and it's Kevin and his assistants and his people. And Kevin goes, Jack, get in this truck now. And so I get in the truck with him. I drive up to his trailer, and they helped me in the house and the air conditioning. And for about 45 minutes, I didn't know what was up. If he hadn't come by, I'd probably been laying in that. I'd probably been laying in that sand because it was hot. It was hot.
Hmm.
yeah. All right. So that one is true then. What about the historical props? That's another thing, that there was an actual antique Colt revolver in one of the shootout scenes.
Oh yeah, they were there. Yep. Mhm.
All right. And okay, is Kevin a prankster? Because
No, Kevin's all business, but he's so cool. Kevin makes everybody feel like they're the only person he's talking to on the set when he's talking to them. He's an incredible. I mean, yeah, we're friends, and I might be biased, but I will tell you this: after talking to all the other big actors that I met out there and asking them, about the people the directors they worked with, I got to tell you, when I've talked to those big actors, every one of them said there's two great directors, and that's Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood. And I got to tell you, he's the best. I had never done a movie before. It made me feel like I had done 50. So he's great.
Well, did he replace in your water bottle? Did he put pickle juice? Is that true?
No.
Okay. 'Cause that's one of the quotes that that they have said to be true about this. So I'm glad we're getting to do this because it's just really pretty fun. As I was reading through them, I was like, oh, I have to know if that's
You got to
really.
send me that link.
Yes.
I just sent you the YouTube video of the Southern Round show, just so you have it.
Awesome.
It's long. You'll have to skip through it and get what you want out of it, because I'm with three other great songwriters. So it's a big show, but you'll be able to do what you want to do with it.
Okay. Well, the last thing that I'd written as something to ask you about was that you had a wardrobe malfunction and your bootlace snapped just before a scene, so you had to hobble through the shot and keep the boot from falling off.
No, because my boots didn't have laces.
Well, there you have it, for the truth and faults of the things that we didn't do too well. Only a couple were true. And that's probably about right for the internet, I would say.
Yeah.
So I guess this movie, Kevin has gotten like the longest standing ovation ever, I guess.
Yep, he did.
So, that must feel very incredible. And I can tell from the way that you talk about him that you just have the utmost respect for him.
Oh my God.
So to be a part of this movie, Friday is very close now. So how are you going to celebrate?
Well, I've got a handful of friends that are going to go. We're going to go to the show together. We're going to have dinner. Then we're going to go to the show together, and then I'm going to hide under the table when my scene comes up, and then we're going to go out and drink some beer.
All right. So well, that sounds like a good celebration. And so you've already seen the movie, and
Yeah.
you've seen, and what did you think when you saw yourself? Like, did you be like, I did pretty good?
I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. I couldn't believe. I saw raw footage, but I could not believe. Gosh, I just could not believe what it turned into. Trust me, this is scary. This is almost scary because, you tell everybody, because you're excited because you're in a movie with Kevin Costner and Sam Worthington and Sienna Miller and Luke Wilson, and the list goes on, and you're in this movie, and you got a pretty decent sized part. You got something that you're not just, you got something that is something. And so you're telling your friends that now they're going to go, now everybody's going to go, and it's going to be, well, you were full of it. It was not, that's not that big of a deal. Or they're going to go, oh my God. So now it becomes reality. Now it's like, ooh. Is everybody going to say he's been just blowing smoke up our butt? Or are they going to go, yeah, man,
Well,
yeah, man.
If they say you're blowing smoke up their butt, you can just say, well, how many Kevin Costner movies have you been in?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So what's next after the movie? After you go back to Nashville and you get everything taken care of there, you said you were going to come back to New York. What are some future ideas that you plan to work on?
Honestly, I hope this just all leads to more movies. I love the spoken word, and I have a feeling that once we do this spoken word, I'm probably going to have to go out and do some live performances, which I love to do. And so I'm hoping that all I hope is what I've always wanted to do all my life is I wanted to perform. I love writing, I love everything, but I've always wanted, I love the performing end of things. And it's odd to me that it's taken me 50 years to get to a place where that's probably going to happen. And I mean, I wanted to be an actor when I was 27 years old, and I was living in Texas, and I got an agent. She was great. I got headshots, but I don't know. There's a difference. It's life well lived. It the gives me the. It's like when I walk on stage now. I don't even. When I was younger, what am I going to? Let's see. Let's see. I think I'll open up with without you, and then I'll say hey, okay, then I'll do this, and then I'll do. Now, I don't even give a shit. I just go, and I don't mean that negatively. I mean that in a way that I sit in the dressing room, I think about what I'm going to do, but when I walk on stage, I look at the people and I go, you know, we're about to have a cool night. And I just sit down, and it's like having 10 friends in my living room and pulling my guitar and go, okay, you want to hear a couple songs? And it's like that. It's like walking into a living room and just playing to my friends, and whatever I say just comes out. It just works. And that is that's all I want to do. I just want to have fun and do some really cool things and finally make a little bit of friggin' money. 50 years, and I'm still, I mean, to be honest with you, when I've done everything I've done, this business is such feast and famine that you make the money on one year you make the money, the next year you spend it, and the next year you got to make it again, and then the next 2 years you're done. I mean, it'd be nice to get to a point where I could go, I don't need to worry about rent no more.
Yeah.
Well, and you might have that Grammy nomination. That could be forthcoming too.
I think we're going for that. We're going for that with Dancing in the Sun. I just sent you Jesus and Me, and I can you can listen to that. Please don't post it until after the 12th, but you guys can listen to it so you can hear it. You can play it to your friends, but you can't. Please don't post it. But you'll see what I'm talking about on Jesus and Me. But Dancing in the Sun, I mean, we are going for a Grammy nomination with that. It's going to be interesting because, like I told you, I mean, Michelle Obama won it last year. The year before that, another incredible black poet won it. So I'm going up against some major, major, major competition as a white boy, you know. But I think because of the honesty in the writing, I mean, I would think that Michelle Obama will hear one of these songs off the record and go, "Oh my God!" I mean, because that's who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems very real, like you do as well. Well, Jack, I can't believe all the things that have happened just since we last spoke with you, but it's very incredible, and I can't wait, for all these successes to lead to more, to have that domino effect. That's what I think will happen for you.
But here's the thing, Kat, just so that you understand who I am in reality. When I woke up a week ago, whenever I first contacted you, I wanted to share my stories. And I said, who's the first person that you will share your story with about? Because nobody knows this. Nobody knows, not even my friends in town. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows. I mean, only my team. Nobody knows about, no, I mean, people know about the movie, of course, but nobody knows about the spoken word shit. Nobody knows about what's going on. Nobody knows that there's a single coming out with Kevin Costner. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows about the movies I've been. Nobody knows about that I'm coming back to town. Nope, And I said, who's the first person that you want to share that story with? And it had to be you because you're the first person to give me a shot telling my first story. So I just felt like you get it first.
Aw. Well, that was very sweet. I appreciate that.
Well, that's
And
what you're supposed to do. I don't know about being sweet,
right.
but it's what you're supposed to do. You're
It's
supposed to remember. You're supposed to remember people. You're supposed to remember the people that when you were working your butt off, the people that said, "Hey, man, I want to give you a hand." You're supposed to remember those people. And God help me, I better not forget anybody. You know.
it's a long list, I'm sure, of people that may have helped you along, and we're happy to be part of that.
Yeah. Me too, brother. Me too.
All
Well,
right.
great.
We're going to let you go. Thanks for coming by and telling us all this stuff. We really, really appreciate your time. And we hope, we're going to have to get together soon. Maybe not another year and a half or 2 years or whatever it's been. Let's do it
Well,
sooner
maybe
than
you
that.
take a trip down to Nashville and come to the big show.
Oh, yeah, yeah. When is the big show?
August 23rd,
Okay.
7 o'clock.
23rd.
Where are you going to be?
Basement.
Okay. Well, how about we contact you and get some details later? And
When the invitations are printed, I'll make sure you get one.
that'd be awesome. We really appreciate it.
When will this come out?
Sunday, actually, it'll be out.
Yeah, so everyone will know then.
Okay. Make sure I get a link.
You will. All right. Again, Jack, we really appreciate your time.
Oh, my God. Me too. It's been great. Thank you all.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care of yourself.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.